You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deep in thought nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkesnstein.
And welcome, everyone. Hello! We're all in the right place. We're not muted. Everything is fine. I'm Simon at Wandering DM. Welcome to our Season 2 finale of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. This, before we introduce everyone, just know that this stream, like all of our streams here, is sponsored by Magen Press. Magen Press, you can go to their store at store.magenpress.com and get 15% off of everything that you buy, including the Dark Matter campaign setting or any of the other books that they've released so far, if you use code WanderingDM. Tonight, I will be playing Jonathan von Brandt, the German elf soldier from the French Foreign Legion who is dodging assassination attempts left and right. And with me I have a cast of wonderful players and a wonderful, wonderful host, not storyteller in this case, host for the game. Let's go around the table, introduce yourselves, tell us who you are, who you'll be playing, and we'll start with PB.
Hi, I'm PB, and today I'm going to be playing Isolina Atenas Montiel, a young Spanish woman who is on her honeymoon with her lovely now wife, Esme, and we're just here to have a good time and experience some adventures with our good friend and her male companions.
And her good friend being Deirdre.
Hello, all, and tonight I am the Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti. I'm enjoying my trip through New Europa, and I enjoy the company of everyone that I meet, some more than others, apparently. And possibly transporting secret documents and other things. You don't need to know about that, it's fine.
And we have returning tonight with probably good reasons for having ditched the party at the train station. Kenny, welcome back.
Hello, thank you. Yes, tonight I will be reprising the role as Clint Smolder, the pew pew gun boy who ran away because he was angry.
And all of our stories could not be told without a host. And we have with us the host with the most, Chris.
Thank you, Simon. That was a lovely way to start. I am so excited to have the cast all together for our finale, as we are going to tie up some loose ends tonight. But first, before we do that, our recap of last week. Simon? Last episode on Adventures in Castle Falkesnstein, the cast did their best to assuage the authorities while surveilling the crowd on the lookout for new assassins. With Clint headed into the city of Geneva pursuing Lady Maribel, the others focused on the new train crew and passengers. Iselina and Esme took the long route, starting at the rear of the train to take in the broader sampling of newcomers. Their careful eyes and unassuming demeanor helped them investigate numerous passengers for any untoward intentions, targeting either the papal artifact or the captain. At the other end of the train, the Contessa and the captain scoped out the well-to-do crowd awaiting boarding into the first-class cars. They then made their way to check on the security of the icon of Assisi. Once it was established as undisturbed, they chose a more personal investigation of their own to peruse within the private sleeping chambers of one Lady Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti. After conversing with a number of interesting people, Tristan included, Iselina and Esme were reunited with a satisfied Contessa and von Brandt, where they explored additional details about what Captain von Brandt saw in and on Lady Maribel, as well as delved into the story of how the captain became a hunted individual by the World Crime League. While there was little to glean from him about the lady who'd captured his attentions last night, he had a much more detailed story to tell about the WCL. Von Brandt had discovered them testing an infernal machine that shook the earth and sky, including knocking his airship to the ground. His crash landing was noticed by the nefarious villains, and the hunt of him and his compatriots began. Will there be another attempt on the captain's life? Are there members of the World Crime League aboard the train already? Can Clint return before the train leaves the station? Who will make their next move? With those questions and other insinuations on our mind, let us rejoin our cast as they continue their performance upon New Europa's stage. But before we draw back the curtain and expose the naked truth, we will consult the fortune deck as we do each session. What do the cards have in store for our favorite cast members? Tonight's pull. We begin with a help, hinder, harm. The helping card. The 9 of Hearts. 9. A reaping right before the end. All of the pieces starting to come together. Emotions running high. Will they get the closure they're looking for? What might hinder that closure? The 6, the righteous path, one of the divine cards. Clubs being fire and passion. Will the passion of the divine intervene to hinder them? We will find out. As fiery communications, maybe that flirting that we see so often may derail their intentions. Will they spend more time conversing than creating solutions? Only tonight's game will tell. So, let's jump in to our story. Players, as we think back to the previous session, and for Clint, to what we missed. Remember the mood, heightened awareness. Police on the scene. A charred cart or wagon that carried barrels upon barrels of drinking water. Or was it steam engine water? Now, a little less usable, shall we say. A hulking, decapitated body oozing black ichor with green hues and highlights. We take off to the city streets. In the shadows cast by gas lamps, we find one Clint Smolder. Tell us, Clint, what were you doing while the others were cavorting upon the train?
Clint started by running down the streets of Geneva. The direction that they thought they saw the cart, or that he saw the cart go, Clint would sprint as fast as he could. Here, I'll play a card for that. Do not have any athletics or physique on that.
Okay. You seem to, at least at first, keep sight of the carriage as it makes its way through the streets. But as turns are made and they go across, you watch them cross the bridge from the side in which the train station is to the larger portion of Geneva. And you pursue. But
Clint,
once you get into that maze of streets, it becomes harder.
Clint becomes like angry, and he feels that rage beginning to build again, but he can't focus it anywhere. So he continues to run in the direction where he thinks he hears the wheels or the carriage. But yeah, fine. Fine, we'll do perception. See if you can find a direction to go.
Okay. So that's a 15 with a base good perception, correct?
Yep.
You surveil the area and you do keep sight, like I said, as it went across the main bridge into the city. And you feel like you know which direction it went, but there are still hooves moving about, other carriages in this city, including automobiles. And the various engine noises do make it difficult to hold on to them versus someplace further west in the Americas.
I think that Clint would start becoming frustrated and a little bit bewildered. And as he made it to the riverside, towards the bridge, where he kind of lost the carriage, I think he would do something that he doesn't do, which is he stops.
Okay. What stops him?
He remembers that there are other people who are waiting for him. And it's the realization that there are other people waiting for him. It's the first time since he's left America that he's had any sort of tie to any other individual or any other person. And he feels guilty.
Like pit of your stomach kind of guilty?
Yeah. And he wants to avenge. He wants revenge. But he knows that it would mean relinquishing those connections to people. And he'll summon up some courage to turn around and try to make his way back to the train station.
Yes. The easy way would be to run off into the night after Lady Maribel. Not to return to others to whom you've chosen to be accountable to. That does take courage. What type of... does he run back? Does he take a swift walk? Does he try to hail a cab?
He's not going to be good around any other people right now.
Mhm.
So he's going to do a swift walk. He doesn't know how much longer he has as far as the train's concerned. So I don't know that he'll run, but he'll listen out for sounds, telltale sounds of a train about to depart as he makes his way back to the Gare, the train station.
Okay. Any other actions? You're talking about time, things of that nature.
Already played a perception card. I'll burn another one for perception just to keep a lookout for anything that looks out of place, but
Okay.
he's also super distracted.
I guess I was more wondering, he seems to have a tick over the course of this season.
Yeah.
Whenever he gets frustrated or when he's worried about the timing of things.
Yep. I think he puts away the pocket watch that he was managing his contract with and puts that, into inside jacket pocket, and he keeps Lady Maribel's Graven, my bad. Yep. Lady Graven's pocket watch out and flicks it open and keeps on looking at the time that way.
Okay. As he walks, and he's swiftly walking and glancing down at it, popping it open and closed as he's wont to do, reflections kind of move past. And upon one of those times when he flicks it open, he catches a reflection that he recognizes. It's Lady Graven staring right back at him from the face of her pocket watch.
He is kind of arrested by that for a moment. Does she do anything? Like, does she make any sort of... Does she look like she's trying to communicate?
She raises an eyebrow at your reaction and mouths the words slowly enough that you can pick up on them without needing any additional perception. What are you waiting for? Return now.
Clint books it. He keeps the pocket watch in his hand and glances down at her face every once in a while, but books it, just runs.
Okay. Would he be curious at all about what phenomenon just happened? Or is he just focused on his activity?
I think he's definitely not in his head at all right now.
Okay.
I think it's all instinct. I think later he may ponder what it is, what's happening, but he spent his late adolescence and early adulthood in in a magical society. So
Mm-hmm.
odd things happening aren't outside of the norm for him.
Fair enough. So, would you like to play a card as you now expedite your movements back to the train?
Gosh, I wish I had a club. Playing a spade.
Okay. And your athletics is a base
Is average.
average. Okay. So that's a 5, and you're working toward it.
You notice I've been burning cards.
Mhm. As you run, you feel energy from it emanating out from the watch. It's kind of tingling along your skin like goosebumps rising. You don't feel tired. But you do now hear words.
Okay.
It's Lady Graven's voice. Like it or not, it seems that we're fated to spend some time together, Mr. Smolder.
There isn't like or dislike in this situation.
Fair enough.
I want to be honorable. I want to honor my contract. But I don't want you to have died for anything in vain.
That is very touching, Mr. Smolder. And one day I will repay your kindness. But for now, we have work to do.
You're right. And Clint keeps on running.
And as Clint runs through the streets of Geneva, as swift as he chased after Lady Maribel, but now running towards his newfound friends and the train in which they are preparing to, or the train that they're on that's preparing to leave for Munich. We will go back to those friends who are in the parlor car, private room, discussing various things. And for those of you that didn't catch it, that was the dramatic revelation given to us by Godless Lawyer last week that fell upon Clint Smolder. Thank you again, Godless Lawyer, for the donation. And if you did not miss the kind of slip in there of what was increased, what skill did you increase there?
It made sense for me. Clint has been a loner because contract killer. I mean, come on. So the courage to turn around and accept responsibility for his actions and embrace new social connections.
Excellent.
Even
So
if it's temporary permanency.
Okay. So you have a good courage now. Correct? Excellent. Thank you again for your donation and for all of your fun puns in the chat. So back to the train. Who wants to pick up where we left off?
I believe we're waiting for somebody.
Well, we're not waiting for me.
No. Although we might if we needed to.
Well, am I here? I'm here, right? We were talking. Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
we're waiting on the.
On Clint.
n-
And
well,
no, we're waiting
the
on
waitress.
the waitress. Yeah, special waitress.
Oh my God we are. Oh no. I completely. Oh no.
Where
Okay,
you
I remember.
decided that you're gonna be the bad cop this time.
Okay. Well, that's because I was already so mean to her. I didn't give her money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember now. Oh God, it's coming back. I already feel awful once more. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
this is what we are doing, I guess. Here we
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the good Capitan has decided that he wants to show off some of his charms.
Well, if you want to get her to talk.
Usually I don't have to do any showing off any charms like that to get someone to talk, but that's your choice, darling.
You show off charm all the time.
Not the same kind you're talking about.
Captain Von Brandt is confused.
I was going to say, is this where the confusion and erogenous zones get mixed up again? All right. So, as you are waiting for the new waitress, there is a knock eventually at the door.
Come on in.
Is it unlocked?
Oh, yes, it's not unlocked. I should do something about that. And she'll get up and unlock the door. So sorry about that. I was in another world.
I was told you needed something.
Oh, yes, I want to thank... I'm sorry, I haven't introduced myself. I'm the Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti, and you are...
Hilaria.
A pleasure. I'm so sorry that things had been so complicated, but I did want to make a point of saying that your charming presence had been a soothing... what's the word in English? Ugh. Bomb. For all of the chaos and apparently people who can't deal with things correctly on this train.
That is mighty kind of you, ma'am.
But there have been a lot of things that are unknown on this train, so we wanted to make sure that we met everyone. You understand, things have been so... Well, 3 dead bodies is quite a bit for a train, right? I'm just going out there and saying it.
It would be a first for me as well, yes.
Have you been with this company long, then?
Over a year.
You do fabulous service. Have they not promoted you yet? I'll have to write a note.
Well, this is a better trek than the original lines I was on.
Ah. Anywhere of interest? I just travel so much, I like to know what trains I should be taking.
Well, any of them that go to Prague are really not all that fun.
Ugh.
And before that, I started on the line from Brussels to Frankfurt.
Just a quick DM question, because I
Mhm.
have it memorized to the map. Is Frankfurt on the Bayern side or the Prussian side?
It is on the Bayern side.
Okay. But Prague is in Prussia.
Prague is,
Yes.
yeah, it's in Prussia,
Well.
kind of near the Russian border as well.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, just double checking things. All right. Personally, I can't see any desire to, well, personally, I'm going for business this time, but why would anyone want to go to Prussia? It's a horrible place. Wasn't I saying that, Captain? And she's kind of walked back in and kind of sat down, acting in that manner like a high noble, assuming that everyone that she's talking to is just going to follow along with her.
Okay. As you do, Ilaria will step inside and, assuming that you would want privacy because the door was locked, she will slide the door closed behind her.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't I saying that, Capitan, that why would anybody want to go to Prussia? Well, they didn't have to.
Oh, it's a dreadful place. Nobody would like to go there, nobody in their sane mind, unless they were forced to. And I look at the waitress.
She seems to just be waiting to find out what it is you want.
Hey, Selena.
She's composed. Her hands are, folded in front of her. And she's just listening and nodding.
Well, we. But your service is very commendable, I have to say. You definitely deserve a promotion. Why are you not working as one of the ladies' maids here?
I prefer seeing and meeting more people. Plus,
So very.
food service has a very specific set of tasks that other things do not.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So sorry, my dear. But I wanted to make sure that you were aware that we appreciated you, and we wanted to make sure that you would be our waitress for the rest of the trip to Munich on our personal table.
I can let Rolf know that is your request,
Oh,
but I
please
don't
do.
make that decision.
Oh, no, go right ahead and tell Rolf. He already knows that of my desires.
Excellent. Then there should be no reason for it not to be okay.
Is there any sign, or can I get a read on her just based on purely social graces, whether Selena is correct that this is a woman who is higher rank than her current circumstances? Or just
what would you like to play?
social graces is spades, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as you size up her social graces, is that one good for you or great?
Good. That one's good.
So 15?
Mhm.
Okay. You'll notice that she's conducting herself very appropriate especially for your station.
Mhm.
And the professionalism is clearly there. She holds herself in a way that is either very well trained or understands different social hierarchies. That doesn't necessarily mean that she is of a higher status. It just means that she has been at some point in time enough to pick up on the little cues, body posture, where you keep your eyes, who you look at while they're talking, things of that nature.
So maybe not necessarily born to an upper status, but possibly a lady's maid or companion at some point.
Very possibly. That is a good goal, or she learned from one.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to make sure that we're very thankful. And she kind of side eyes, looks at the captain, and is like, I've got what I want. And she's going to reach for her coin purse.
As you side eye the captain, you see her get a little weirded out.
At that, the Contessa just smiles a little bit and pulls a couple more coins out of her purse and over tips.
Okay. What's this for?
How?
Oh, I just always love to treat good service well.
But I haven't done anything.
No, but you've been a calm port in the storm, and you will be our server for the rest of the trip. And don't worry, nothing that you're thinking of at the moment would ever be put on this table.
Thank you, ma'am.
Might I recommend investing in a very large hat pin?
Duly noted.
They're so useful, fashionable, and for many other reasons.
She'll nod.
And just thank you so much for your assistance. And then just kind of pull that subtle, like, dismissal.
Okay. PB?
All I
You-
remember
Mhm.
is that I was trying to stall last session
Yeah.
for Kenny. And I don't remember what my play here. I just was like, oh, she's suspicious. Let's spend more time here. And I don't remember anything that I was planning on like doing to continue stalling because I reached the stall. I was like, all right, end of show. Don't have to worry about it anymore.
Fair enough. You were looking for interesting people that stood out amongst the crowd. Her
Yes.
mannerisms stood out amongst the crowd. She understood things that and followed patterns that were not of her station, but they could have been learned. And that's kind of what the Contessa's picking up on there as well.
Just interesting. Okay, well. Have we gotten, what time is it? Have we gotten more stuff to drink? Do we need to eat? Are we?
It's after 8 p.m.
Yeah, it's after dinner. We had dinner before
Oh.
Kenny blew up a street, or before Clint blew up a street. Or the
I mean, I'm not opposed
Platform.
to it.
I've done it once. I'll do it again. Okay.
She'd kind of, the Contessa would wait until Alaria, I'd get there eventually, left and then lock the door and then settle back. No, she's not out to kill you.
No, I figured, and I would have felt bad using any of my powers on an innocent young woman.
You're the one that introduced that theory.
Well, if she was out to kill me, I would have not hesitated a second.
That's good.
I was going to say a
Hesitation.
second.
That does seem to be your pattern. So what does it say about the Contessa?
The Contessa is very upfront about the fact that she does not want the captain dead by her hand or anyone else's. She uses him for she needs him for other reasons.
She uses him for other reasons. Yeah, sure.
No. I believe that was an accurate slip.
I mean, there are multiple reasons.
Uh-huh. So, what other kinds of things would you like to discuss?
Well, our theory is about the necromancer and the Prussians and all of the South Africa crazy doomsday machine, water displacement.
That they're probably selling to Prussia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we know that the Iron Master wants to start the war.
Mm-hmm.
We know that a bunch of Unseelie have an unfortunate obsession with the Iron Master.
Yeah.
We know. Well,
We know that the Prussian government is getting in bed with the World Crime League.
oh, right. World Crime League.
We are very sure that the Prussia is where we need to go, unfortunately.
Fortunately, that is our next stop.
No, we're stopping in Munich, which is in Bayern.
Oh, I mean, our next like
There's a lot to do in Bayern.
There's a lot to do in Bayern. People to meet, parties to attend,
Gifts to deliver.
gifts
Assassins
to
to
deliver,
stop.
assassins to stop.
People to assassinate.
People to sleep with. What?
That's a given.
Yeah, I mean,
that's everywhere, isn't it? For this group.
That's just like drinking.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly what I was going to say. We don't mention drinking.
You don't mention breathing either. All of these fall into the same category for this group.
Well, yes, actually, that's true. And it's very, very true. It's just, so
I mean, when it comes down to category of libations, yes, we get a little bit more specific, but we're not there yet.
no. We know that it is, we know that it is alcoholic. But she probably would have also turned and pulled. No, we didn't. Because we asked them to bring, when we asked for Illyria?
Ilaria.
Alaria to come, we were also going to pull to get the next bottles because we finished the ones we had.
Oh, right.
Correct.
You finished it.
Thank you. That helps. But other than that, do we have a plan for when our dear friend Clint returns?
Find out what he knows. He clearly went to go chase Lady Maribel? Maribel? Lady Maribel. So I guess just wait and see what he has to say there. I mean, I have not heard reports of a giant drag. I know about that, right? Dragon? We know that you become angry and dragon out.
I don't remember if you know about that or not, but
I haven't heard any more bombs go off in the city. We'll backtrack that one. Any more bombs or any more sirens. So I have to assume that Smolders is okay.
And the Capitan defeated her last creation, most handily, by the way.
It was very impressive.
That wasn't the only impressive thing he's done in the last hour.
Did all that really happen in only an hour?
I was just thinking, was that really an hour?
I mean,
Two.
wasn't the entire season an hour?
I mean,
2 days.
is that a challenge?
You know, it's like the show 24 here.
Dun, 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 dun.
damn it!
Good, I'm ready. I'm down. Season 3, the 1 hour challenge. Let's do it.
All right. So while all this is going on, there seems to be continued chattering and squeaking from the hedgehogs as they also are conversing amongst themselves.
Are they like when the little
Mhm.
Are they I don't know. Does what is are they just like nattering to each other, or are they being a little bit more emphatic with their movement? A little curious about these magical hedgehogs from magical hedgehog land.
They do seem to be making facial expressions, at least micro expressions, as well as occasionally a paw will produce from one of the little pouches and gesticulate.
They're talking.
They're magical hedgehogs. This is not the weirdest thing I've had to deal with in the last 6 months.
Not the last 2 hours, isn't that right, little Marcelo?
Very true. I mean, they're not, undead abominations with a sword. Or dying by a sword, I should say.
They both stop and look at you.
What? You didn't see the giant thing outside that, tried to kill the Capitan? Poorly, I might add.
They
Why am I
both
talking
turn
to
and look at the
rodents?
window, which they can't see out of, and then they turn and look at you again.
Damn.
And cock
I'm
their
having a conversation with rodents. Here, Esme, Isolina, show them the giant body thing, whatever the hell what you cut the head off of.
What? No. Why would I do that? Esme kind of tucks Marcelo into the pouch and pulls him up. Goes, no, I'm not going to do that.
Well, apparently they wanted to see, and they were having comments about it.
What do you want to see?
Wait, they can understand us?
Like Arsenio, do you want to see the monstrosity that is outside right now?
Arsenio looks at you as you talk to him and raises an eyebrow. Like, are you mad, woman?
See, that's
That doesn't say no or yes.
That's a pretty emphatic no, isn't that right, Arsenio?
He'll kind of nod and then scurry down back into the pouch.
Well, there we go.
All right then.
Not everyone was made to look at Lady Maribel's monster. Isn't that right? You can go ahead and continue speaking about whatever you were speaking of.
Squeaker, squeak, squeak 'em.
I need, and she just kind of looks at the captain. I need a bigger drink. And you know about things that come from beyond the veil? Is that normal?
Maybe.
That
You've
isn't
talked to
real.
animals on the other side before. Or at least heard of stories about talking to animals.
Probably
on the
heard
other
of
side before.
stories more than actually have. My parents once told me a story about a very talkative elephant. So I guess a talkative hedgehog works?
I mean, if you remember Oberon, you remember Oberon. And mostly he's just there. You know, when Jusser crossed over, he spoke to a squirrel? Is that the little piece? He was led to the court, the city court,
Yeah,
by
but
a speaking squirrel.
like I said, this is okay. Okay.
Like you said, it is not the weirdest thing that has happened.
Nope. Definitely not the weirdest thing that has happened. Also, the least fun thing that is not the least fun thing that has happened.
I do not know. I think they are pretty fun. I'm sure there is much to learn from these little guys.
They'll kind of, straighten up a little bit when you say that.
I'm
Well,
so happy we kept these hot dogs. Well, I mean, we still have to deal with these necromancers. We still have to give away this artifact, I guess. Do we still? No, that's somewhere. I don't know. We
No,
have to get that.
yeah, everything
That's
else has to get to Munich. We just have to keep the good Capitan alive to get to Munich.
We know that. Are there like bugs? Like recording bugs, like or trackers that exist in this universe?
What skill do you want to try and employ to remember about the different kinds of technology that your parents have told you about, or at least conceived of, whether or not they've created it?
Education?
Sure.
I have that as a good,
Okay.
and I have is this the moment to
No
use
problem.
this? I am for a question. You know what? I'm gonna use it. It's fine.
Oh.
Ooh.
Bringing out the big guns.
Yeah.
All right.
Starting it off strong.
There we go. So, what you would know from your parents, their connections with the dwarves, and also a few of their other compatriots is that there are scrying devices. Typically, scrying is a sorceress art. Ways to gain clairvoyance and clairaudience to either peer upon or listen into places that you are not physically. Your parents were working with one such sorcerer to try and mix magics with dwarven technology in order to create objects that could scry from long distances if it had a second matching component placed in the wherever it is that they wanted to scry upon. So it was in the works as a side project that they had assigned to one of their, I guess, inventors that works for them, who is also magically inclined. Neither of your parents are magically inclined. So they brought in someone whom they trust to work on that project. And they've been working actually out of Vienna, of all places, coming up with this plan. But there isn't one that you know of other than magics that are used to scry specifically.
And what was the part that's needed for scrying? Like, what is the component that they had to try and
So they were
replicate?
They were currently trying to find ways to attach it to either jewelry, which is really easy to give as gifts that people would wear and take with them, or innocuous things that you could place in someone's home or room that they may not like think twice about. Curios of sorts that people put on, especially the nobility, place on mantles or at bedside tables, things of that nature. But they didn't have just one in particular.
And for scrying in general, does it have to be like a magical component that has to?
Currently, the current type of scrying that you remember them talking about being functional right now, it is magical in nature. Like crystal balls, scrying pools, scrying mirrors, any sort of reflective surface where they can manipulate magics through in order to try and go to some place that they've once been before.
Okay. But if I think over to the captain and his belongings and things he carries around with him, I can't think of anything that would fit that description.
Captain,
Yes.
what sorts of items does von Brandt carry on his person? I know you're traveling light.
Yes. On my person right now, I have a flask tucked away in my jacket. I have my jacket, of course, like aside from my clothes. I have a belt on which rests the scabbard for my sword. I have my pistol, which is in a holster on my hip. And
any medals of service?
Any insignia?
On my uniform, yes, I do. I don't think von Brandt was ever awarded anything for his service. I don't think of him as a like he was a good soldier, but not like an outstanding one.
So he may not have like individual heroism medals, but he probably has the various medals of engagements and campaigns that he was part of.
Yeah, there's that, and his wings, I think, that every pilot gets. But those would be patches, I think. But that's about it.
So of those described, would any of those fit the bill? What do you think?
I am trying to see what the French Foreign Legion uses for their pilot distinctions. right now.
In the 19th century.
Yes. So,
Well.
I mean, we can just go ahead and say that it's like whatever.
I am seeing antique silver wings.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a patch until after World War II. Before
Yeah.
that, they're all
Metal?
physical. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're some sort of silvered metal. They're a set of wings with a circle on it that has the Foreign Legion's symbol.
And I mean, and if you served in any major campaigns, you would have had like bars of all the campaigns that you served in.
Yeah, so let's say I have like a few metal types.
Okay.
Like metals.
Alrighty. So, yeah. Yes, you see, I don't know, how hard are you looking at the captain?
Pretty.
Hard
Pretty.
enough to play a card, or are you just going with your extraordinary?
Oh, I will. I mean, sure. Just to use it. What is this, perception?
Yeah, diamonds. Okay.
That's all I have to play for that.
Well, it still bumps it to, what's that, 12? Okay. You'll notice that it looks like there's, I don't know, something looks weird about his pilot's wings.
Why do you keep staring at me like that, Isolina? Do I have something on? I mean,
I am going to. Are you standing or sitting, Captain?
I think I'm still standing at that point.
I'm gonna stand up. God damn it, man. One day I'll get a better card. I'm gonna go and I'm going to stand up, and I'm going. So you see me like very looking pretty intently at some part of your person, but considering you're not that perceptive, I don't think you know what I'm looking at. But as soon as I stand up, you know I'm looking at you. Yeah, you will, but he will. So, and then I will look at you, like straight on at you, Captain. And I'm gonna walk very purposefully over to you, get up all in your business.
Isolina, please, you're married.
And I'm and I'm gonna if you move backwards, if you take steps back as I get up all up in your space, I will back you up all the way to a wall or whatever.
I think that'd be
No,
pretty
I
funny.
wouldn't say a word. Yeah, I'm not saying a word. I'm just looking like straight at you, avidly avoiding what I was looking at before to the Contessa. And I'm gonna put a hand right over where you have your that medal.
Probably like around here or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my hand right on that, and I'm going to like grab at your uniform, specifically that thing, but it's not like you know what I'm doing. And I am just gonna stay very close to your person, and I'm gonna pull very hard to get that thing off of his uniform.
Okay, so you're pulling the whole pin off?
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't,
And
it's not difficult to take off.
I'm just gonna pull that whole thing off.
Okay.
What? Isolina, what are you doing?
And I'm going to put my hand out back behind me because I assume I heard the shuffling of a dress.
Mm-hmm.
You did. The
And-
Contessa knows that you have no interest in the Capitan beyond.
And I'm gonna stay on him as you're like, Isolina, what are you doing? You know? And I'm gonna put my hand out, and as soon as I feel yours under mine, I'm gonna put it down and flatten it on your hand.
Mhm.
And I will do that until you move to close it, and then I'll pull my hand away. and then I am gonna flatten out that, your uniform there, and I'm gonna look over and give a Contessa a look of. It's
And
when
she's
I
gonna, I mean, based on the fact that the Contessa has a good sorcery and a general paranoid nature,
Mm-hmm.
she would be kind of aware of scrying as it exists. Maybe not the specific modern way that
Mm-hmm.
Isolina's talking about, but general scrying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's just going to pick up one of the glasses that still has some wine left in it, look at it sadly for a moment, and drop the wings in the wine glass.
Okay.
And then just kind of swirl it around
and I'm going
so that it sinks to the bottom.
Okay.
Just because she's a paranoid individual.
This has got
say
to be the weirdest flirting session ever.
We haven't even
Yes.
gotten to the flirting yet, honey. We'll get there.
Well, it does look like, Capitan. There was something, in fact. You did have something that was leading them to you.
Oh gosh, was it the wings?
In a way, it was. Um, as far as I know, my parents were working on some sort of project, and now that we had a little bit of downtime, where I was not interested in my honeymoon or the murder that was happening on the express here, I was thinking about why were they finding you? How did they keep finding you? If you were jumping from place to place, train to train, how did they find you and your people so quickly? And I thought back, if I were to really, really want to find an individual, what would I do? Who would I go to? And aside from just having an extensive network of people, of acquaintances, even then it's difficult to travel from place to place that quickly. And it occurred to me that there are magical ways to know and see where a person is and hear what they are saying. And when I began to look at you to see if any of these matched the the things that I heard my parents speak of, there was one such thing on your person that looked odd. I looked pointedly over at the wine glass. And also there's a tinge of like sadness as I look at it also.
As you do, you notice Esme leaning over it with chopsticks as she's pulling out the wings and dabbing them off on a napkin. Then she pulls out a toolkit and starts to pull it apart.
We got the interruption, so go right ahead.
She pries off the Legion of the French Foreign Legion, the symbol of the French Foreign Legion. And beneath it is an inscribed symbol etched into the metal. I don't think this is your original pin, Captain.
I don't recall changing it myself. Ever.
What happened after you crashed?
I might have been out for a while, but I remember definitely walking out of the crash, out of the wreck, and surveilling my surroundings, making sure that everybody was alright, that none were suffering major wounds that would have made their exit from the site of the crash any more difficult.
Was there ever a point you had to take off your uniform and you did not, where you took it off and there were other people near you?
Aside from last night with Lady Maribel.
Or less than an hour ago, apparently.
No, I keep it on even when I'm doing the thing. It's
No,
it's
you
a
didn't.
kink. Um,
No, the ladies seem to like it, so I just keep it on.
um, I
I think we need to change the rating of the channel.
Oh, my channel is rated adult, by the way. It's mature. It's age walled. Age
We still might need to up the rating of the channel.
shoot.
Where's the next one? 18 plus. Mature audiences only.
I took it off a few times. I mean, trekking through, but there weren't people around. Though I remember, we were hiding in Cairo. No, was it Cairo? God, I get all of my cities mixed up.
Well,
Yeah.
good. Why would you? Casablanca.
Give me a second. I'm Google mapping it.
It's okay.
My brain
Cairo's on
is
the-
loading. My brain.
Cairo's on the other side of the continent.
He had to
Tangier.
make his way.
Oh, that works.
In Tangier. It got really, really warm. And I took off my jacket, but I kept it, over my shoulder.
It wouldn't need to have been a person that he met permanently. He's in a city like Tangier. Pickpocket. 2 seconds. In, out.
In and out. I mean, even I easily just picked it off.
Well, easily I let you pick it off.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, at any of those moments, someone could have just put this on you, a tracker, a scrying tool. Do either of you recognize the symbol inside of the thing?
Captain, do you take a look at it?
Yeah, I'm gonna move closer to Esme and take a look at it.
That's the tattoo.
Lady Maribel's?
Uh-huh.
That thing, that was on her thigh.
That's not
That
gonna
does
be
not
bad
look
by
like a
somebody.
pentagram.
No, but it's kind of starred and pointy, and it has a octagon and swirly bits.
But it looks like a star, it's pointy, and it has an octagon and swirly bits.
How are you alive? I do not understand.
Because of my charming personality?
Mm, no comment.
So she would have done it. She could have done it.
Or any member of her society and organization.
And that is how she knew to get on this train.
But then she's been working with the World Crime League.
Still haven't found out from Tristan if there's a unfortunate price on your head.
Why did you ask Tristan if there was a price on my head?
No, I asked him to post a telegram about that.
Oh.
And to let your good colonel know that I'd give you back eventually.
Well then. So now that the wings are rendered inoperable, I guess,
Do we think those are rendered inoperable?
we can chuck it out the window.
Based on your sorcery, you don't believe that there is anything that would be hindered by a glass of wine. What you see there is clearly a sigil.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mark of some level of power that is being utilized to communicate. Any sort of mark of power like that does not need a source, like a battery.
Yeah. Well, It also would have distorted any image that they got. It's a glass of
Mhm.
wine.
Oh, absolutely.
She's gonna pull the pin that the bronze pin that she's got tucked down the front of her corset, and walk over to Esme and say, just a moment, I'm going to try something. And she's going to use that pin in her hand and score it straight across the symbol.
Okay. Would you like to play a card?
She's going to play this for just pure strength to score the metal.
Okay. And that's athletics?
Which is average.
Okay. So, I mean, a king is still excellent. So it's a 17. You score the metal successfully. It is silver, actually. So it's a softer metal. You cut right through the symbol of power, and it flashes and sparks and fly everywhere. Everyone in the room, it's like a flashbang goes off, but not the sound. It's just the flash of light. It does blind you all. Temporarily, of course, but it is a blinding light.
I do have a question. Is this a familiar flash of light?
No, the other one did not have the lingering effect of this temporary blindness. Like right now, all you can see are spots and white. And unless anyone's going to do anything in like the next couple minutes, it will fade over a few minutes. And then you'll just have those like spots like you stared at a light bulb directly, kind of floating in your vision for a while.
I was going to suggest to just put it on the collar of an animal or something. But that's also work.
I'm sorry, I can't quite hear you, Iselina.
Oh, I was going to suggest just putting it on like the collar of an animal and just leaving it there. But I mean, that works too.
No, I just felt very passive aggressive and it was relieving and for me.
I want to note I'm not looking at the Contessa. I'm looking at where I think the Contessa is. Because I can't see anything.
So you're just kind of like looking to that general side of you.
If anybody in this room could see, it would be very comical.
I mean, I think even with the blinding, you could kind of still pick out where the Contessa is. She'd be the giant thing in black.
I mean, right now everything looks white.
Yeah, but white, and then the thing that's not.
I mean, I'm looking in your general direction.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, and I just felt it was going to make me feel good to let her know that she didn't win.
Kind of did, but if it makes you feel better, that is what matters.
A few minutes will pass and your vision will return. And like I said, you've got those lingering spots, like you just stared too long at a light bulb.
I was really hoping Kenny would pop in the middle of that.
Not quite yet. However, speaking of Mr. Smolder, Clint, you're making good time on your way back. You weave your way back through the city. The pocket watch is, even though it is a watch, feels almost like a compass. One time you actually turned to the right and you felt a tug on your person that you needed to go left instead. And you hear Lady Grovin's voice and say, "Not that way."
All right. Sure. Yeah. And Clint will kind of change course and follow the watch's guidance. This would be the first time that anything other than instinct has kind of led Clint.
Mm-hmm.
And so Clint is a bit awkward about it all.
So as you push through that awkward feeling and continue to press on, you see the train station as you turn the corner, and the fields or the city starts to open up, and there are larger swaths of what would be considered like parking lots, staging areas for carts that would unload from the train, or people would be dropped off. And you find the horses and carriages, and oddly enough, you're coming from a different side than the way you left, and yet it is the less frequented side. It's toward the front of the train. You left closer to the back of the train, and there are fewer people. There are fewer police. As you round the building, what would you like to do?
Clint's gonna use that to his advantage and try to just find a way on the train that is avoiding pretty much everybody. If he sees one of the conductors he knows, like Rolf, he'll go for that entrance if it's closer than anything else.
He will actually see Rolf at the what would be the entrance to the very front of the first sleeper car, which would have been very close to where Lady Graven's cabin was. Conversing with one of the engineers as he's preparing, talking to them about how much longer it'll be before they get to disembark.
Yeah, I'll approach Rolf. Hey, excuse me. Do you mind if I enter here? I just had to catch some air after all that fuss.
Oh, yes. Not a problem. The good father has tended to your friend, and I have one of the staff trying to clean up your room. It was paid for in full to Munich. We will honor that.
I greatly appreciate it. It's no matter if it takes time after we leave. It's not urgent that it be ready for me.
Understood. We appreciate your patience. It's been a trying time lately. You see a different demeanor about him while he's one-on-one with you.
Yeah. I imagine that the stress of the train ride itself was a lot.
Yeah, and with both of you kind of like seeing and talking about a dead body, there's like just a dropping of airs that seems to happen when people are around something that not everyone sees together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he doesn't seem to be as stuffy as he normally would be. It sounds as though he feels sorry for your loss, even though he doesn't know how well you knew Lady Graven or anything like that.
Right. It's that universal loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Clint will kind of nod. I don't know if Clint has much in the way of money on him right now. I think it'd be almost ghoulish to tip him right now. So
it might be, yeah.
So Clint will just, you're continuing on, right?
Yes, I'm all the way through to Vienna, which is our final stop before we turn around and head back to Barcelona. Well, actually, from Barcelona on to Madrid. So that's the full route.
I look forward to seeing you again. And Clint will mount the train.
Okay. As you enter in through that entrance, it's less used. So you'll notice, just based on your own patterns, there's fewer foot traffic here. You do hear some shuffling of feet inside some of the cabins. You think some of the new patrons are stowing away their personal belongings before going and sitting in the parlor car for when the conductors come through to check tickets. You also because it's at that end where Lady Graven's cabin was, you will actually hear the sounds of two people working in that cabin.
Clint will just make his way past the sleeper car. He'll check the parlor car on the way to the bar car.
Okay. As you get into the parlor car, you'll notice that the private car is again shut and locked.
So Clint will go up and knock on the door.
Okay. There's a rapping.
Who is it?
It is me.
Oh! And she'll kind of get. Can we see now?
Yes.
Okay, she'll kind of get up, walk over to the door, unlock it, and slide it, and just kind of lounge slightly in the doorway.
Ah,
We're going to blow anything up?
not right now.
Okay, come on then.
And Clint will kind of... He'll behave like he knows he did something wrong. So, like, he'll look at people in their eyes, but then kind of look down and just kind of like walk in, choose the closest seat, and kind of sit down. And I'll even like close off his normally fairly open posture.
Mm-hmm. Are you paying attention to your surroundings at all?
I'll throw a card out there for it, sure.
Okay.
But yeah, Clint will look around the car just to make sure it's as normal as it feels. But I think that Clint's probably still not super aware of much right now.
Okay. Fair enough.
Tessa would close, lock the door, and as she'd walk by, she'd just kind of like... Because he's sitting down and there are only 4 chairs in here, now there are 5 people.
Oh.
Well, I was still standing up.
You were still
I was gonna
standing
say,
up.
Yeah.
She'd walk by... she'd walk by you to take the chair that the Capitan had and just kind of like do that pat you on the head kind of thing. It's okay. No, it's not, but it'll be okay. And then she'll sit kind of like full gracefully in the chair. So did you catch her?
No, I did not. She got too far into the city, and I realized that I made a mistake.
Which mistake are you apologizing for?
Okay, fine. I made several mistakes.
Just, I want to know, because I need to be able to plan for the future. And while watching a gun suddenly appear and manifest a giant ball of fire is very entertaining from a distance, it's a little awkward to work with without advance notice.
There wasn't much notice I could give, unfortunately. I haven't displayed it much, but I have a bit of a temper.
You can say that.
A bit explosive.
Well, that's the lesser end of the big stick.
Oh. And well, then what is the bigger one?
That's going to take some time to explain. But in this instance, it was either try to force out all that through my gun rather than keep it in and have it turn into something bigger.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Yep. Sorry. I don't know why Zoom decided to shut down and restart on me, but it did.
It's okay. Fixing it.
That was weird.
We're good.
And I'm sure it'll all be fine. We know now that there are things we just need to work about. You have a temper issue that causes things to explode. And the Capitan really does not succeed in describing tattoos.
What it comes down to is I don't know when people mean things to me until it's a little bit too late. And I realized when I was out there hunting down Lady Maribel that y'all mean something to me. Y'all, it's been a day and a half, I recognize, but. And Clint kind of just stares off for a second and kind of goes silent.
That's okay. I figured out Iselin, and I figured out that we would be the bestest of friends in what, 30 minutes? 40?
At least. I mean, honestly, we performed the trust ball in the first 30 seconds of knowing each other. So
It was great. It was perfect, even.
I'll try to do better in the future. If I get angry,
Well,
I'll just make sure it's not pointed in y'all's direction.
I appreciate not being pointed at. B, I understand getting angry. I'm Sicilian. I'd freely acknowledge, however, that means that we take our time when we get angry and we plot the slow demise of what has made us angry and everyone that is around it.
I'm happy you understand the anger. I feel like we're at two different sides of that spectrum.
it's sorry. It's one of those things. I mean, honestly, just knowing it, now we know. Before we were very, I would say caught off guard by things such as explosive guns and you running off to maybe never be seen. But now we understand that, this is something you must deal with. And, now we know to help that and to help you deal with that instead of just being like, well, I guess there he goes. Well, see him maybe later.
Clint pops open the watch and looks down at Lady Grovin's face. Does she give any indication that she wants to be known?
She will smile back at you and do this.
Okay. And Clint will close the watch.
Just
Wait.
like that. Or just knowing each other, we know that this is a thing that you do when you need time to think. Instead of it being like some magical doodad of destruction and demise,
Typically, I wouldn't be back here. I'd be taking care of the issue, and you'd never see me again.
Darling, I will definitely see you again.
And honestly, this is what we call growth. So
There are plenty of things. I always like to see people again and again, unless, of course, I was the person that ended them. And I'm not planning to do that for anybody in this room.
Clint will turn to Captain Von Braun and says, "Seems you're still alive."
I am. Alive and kicking.
That's good news.
That's one word for it.
I'm glad to see you too, Clint.
Well, have we identified anyone else who's here to kill you?
We suspected a waitress, but turns out that she's just a really good waitress.
And also has a problem with men, probably from poor male behavior in a previous station.
That's unfortunate.
I recommended investing in a very good hat pin.
That's good advice.
Oh, we did discover how the good Lady Gravin, or excuse me, not Lady Gravin, Lady Maribel, whoever the hell she was, figured out where the good Capitan would be.
Oh,
Far
Logic.
away
My-
something that I think is a fly, but it's actually just a white spot in my vision.
It turns out there was a bug on me all along.
okay, yeah. So they were following you.
Seems like it. Or at least Lady Maribel planted a bug. She could be just the last person to have done so.
Or it could have happened in
Tangiers?
Yes, that's honestly what we have learned is that the good Capitan is not very observant. And it's a miracle that he's alive. I say under my breath.
Does anyone show Clint the symbol?
Yeah, the Contessa would. It's like, and that would be what was apparently tattooed on the good Lady Maribel and pinned on the good Capitan.
Does Clint recognize it?
Actually, yes. Your mentor,
Mm-hmm.
the one that drove you to your first outburst,
Mm-hmm.
often carried a book with that symbol on the clasp whenever he was around you.
Okay. Oh. All right.
He said when you asked about it once that it was a book on the Order of the Dragon, a powerful group of sorcerers in which he believed your heritage went back to.
Clint will share this information.
Would I have heard about that at all?
It does not sound familiar from any of the circles that you've run in.
Okay. Well, necromancers, dragons, elves, a train ride, assassinations. And here I thought Munich would be boring.
Anything but. Anything but.
You haven't even arrived yet.
This is true. I mean,
That is the magic. That is Oh, also the Capitan described to us the big doomsday machine.
we figured out why they're chasing him. That's a big thing to know.
Doomsday machine.
I say doomsday. It is a very large machine that I think we discussed. It's probably like a large force that it throws out of
Like a shockwave,
energy.
yeah.
Yeah, like a shockwave that can knock down things in the sky. From pretty far. You know, you were at distance around it, right, Capitan?
It generates some sort of shockwave through the air and the earth. It can knock down buildings. It can knock down planes and zeppelins from the air. It looks like a giant hot air balloon, if you will. Only it vibrates a lot. And those vibrations are what caused my crash, I'd assume.
And it's diabolical.
It is, and it is being made by the World Crime League, probably to be sold to Prussia.
Interesting.
Now, what does this Order of the Dragon have to do with it? I don't know at all.
I mean, if they are a powerful group of sorcerers, maybe that is what the energy is. It is a large magical force contained within.
So it'd be some sort of joint venture between sorcerers and the World Crime League.
Well, I mean, it is a war.
There's a
tried
lot
to
of. I'm sorry.
No, continue.
There's a lot of overlap in interest. Who gets what?
I mean, if they're going for world domination, I would say it's just what part do they get? Or they betray each other all at the end. Honestly, like 50-50.
Eh, I'm sure I could work it if I put a lot of effort into it, that it would end up betraying each other much faster than that. But yes, the odds are 50-50 currently.
Still, I don't
So-
like those odds.
There's a lot at stake.
Yes.
Fate of the world?
Or at least this section of it.
New Europa?
Oh,
Only the beginning.
I still have my contract.
I mean, I do have another question for you. You say this is the Order of the Dragon, right?
Yes.
Is it Dragon or Dagon? Because in some places, that other name has a little bit more of an infernal meaning.
Chris?
You're muted.
Good.
You have always heard it pronounced as dragon when around you. Maybe that was intentional. Maybe that was your choice on how to interpret those words due to your own personal attachment to such a word. But he
Yeah.
never opened the book around you. He just simply carried it.
I never got a good look.
Mm.
But I've always heard it referred to as dragon. But
Well,
this was only from one person.
the serpent in the garden, and a bunch of infernal machines. I see something very interesting here. And working against what the Vatican desires. See a lot of very interesting things here.
We just world destruction is the end game of it all.
Destruction for its purpose, yes.
Less of trying to control at least the person at the top. Because there is always a puppet master. Allowing everyone else to think that they have the power in the situation.
Yes, yes. But not all dragons kill with fire in the stories.
A lot of them do.
Yes, but there are other dragons that kill with wind. And
At this mention, Clint blanches quite a bit.
I'm sorry to have upset you. But there are stories of dragons whose roar would shatter houses and cause earthquakes.
Clint gets up. It's not you. I need some air. And Clint will unlock the door and walk out.
Be careful. I'm not
As-
looking at everyone on the train.
As
We haven't
you-
gotten all the new hire people.
As Clint unlocks and opens the door, there are two gentlemen standing in the doorway, one with his hand up about to knock, and they are dressed in a very specific regalia. One of the Swiss Guard. And that is where we're going to take our midway break. Stick around. We'll be back
What?
shortly.
All right, we'll be. Oh, before we go to break, thank you so much, Godless Lawyer, for the donation. We'll check what that gets us during break, and we'll come back in about 5 to 10 minutes. See you soon, everyone. And we're back. And thank you, Godless Lawyer, again for the $20 donation. That means that we have one dramatic revelation for one player. And because we reached $20, we get another dramatic revelation for another random player.
Alrighty, so we are going to pull our first dramatic revelation. And it is spades. That, for anyone who has not witnessed when we've done a dramatic revelation, you'll notice in the player characters or in the player's frames, there is a suit. So spades is PB. Isolina has a dramatic revelation.
Excited to find out what it's going to be because she has been fairly unproblematic this season.
And so any one of your average skills is automatically bumped to good. And we find some way to tie it into the story. And number 2, of course, it should be the other of the lady detectives, the Contessa. Diamonds. So our lady detectives are having a dramatic revelation as the splotches in their vision start to fade. Thank you, Godless Lawyer. I will let the two of you ponder that as Clint greets 2 Swiss guards that were knocking, well, attempting to knock on the door.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a ball somewhere?
Sir, we are here on strict business. We require the Lady Contessa, Lucrezia Sophia Fioravanti.
All right. And Clint will kind of turn, keeping his body in the doorway. Some very brightly dressed gentlemen are here for you.
Oh, Signore Smolder, would you be so kind as to bring them in?
Clint sizes up the room. Can the room fit 2 more people?
No, like everyone can see these 2 gentlemen that you've introduced, and they can see all of you. It's not big enough to really get 7 people into. 5 it kind of pushes it at the seams.
Clint will kind of, if you'll allow me, I need some air, gentlemen. And Clint will try to get past.
Okay. Are you doing anything in particular? Like, is Clint kind of rushing? Is he a little anxious in this moment? Or is he just trying to, like, navigate the space of a train?
I mean, he's flustered, but I don't think that he's, like, agitated or anything. He's headed towards the bar cart.
Okay. So that's easy enough because the private cabin is toward the back, so they could step one way and you could sneak around and head toward the bar car.
Yeah, so Clint will just point off and be like, I need to head out that way.
Okay.
Do come in, gentlemen.
They will step inside.
For those of you who don't know, these are the brilliant guards of His Excellency, His Holiness the Pope. This is Mrs. Lady Selena Tennis Montiel and her charming wife, Esme. And this is my bodyguard, Capitan Jonathan von Brandt, late of the French Foreign Legion.
Nice uniforms.
They will nod at each of you as you're introduced.
What can we do for your excellence, His Excellency?
We're here to secure the item.
The item is very secure. I was not informed that you were going to be taking it. In fact, I was requested to not hand it over to anyone.
We're just following orders, ma'am. We're here to secure the item.
Like she...
Well, senores, what proof do I have that you are an actual guard of His Excellency?
They both kind of look at each other. And they look back at Isolina. They turn to the Contessa and say, "We don't mean to be rude, but we are in a hurry."
Yes, but we've had 3 dead bodies and at least that many attempts on my life since the item was given to me and put in my security. So you understand that we are taking things in a cautious means.
You can just point us in the right direction and we can take that danger from you.
You must be new here, senor. If you think that this is how any of these things go, now who are you really and who sent you?
They just kind of stare at you like they don't understand what's going on.
Okay, then what is the item you are requesting to pick up?
That is between the Vatican, its courier, and our captain. We're here to secure it and take it
That is
with
an
us.
answer that I want to speak. Gentlemen, have your captain come talk to me.
There's no time.
There's all the time in the world. That item isn't leaving my possession until I am told otherwise by a figure of authority. And I'm sorry. And she kind of looks the 2 of them up and down and pulls the snootiest of noble bullshit and says, "Enlisted men don't count. So go find me an officer who actually knows what's going on."
They will turn and leave.
And I shall close the door.
And I'll lock it and I'll say, "Captain, you have your gun handy, right?"
I'm not about to shoot a Swiss guard. Those people are neutral.
Those, remember, the Swiss guards don't belong to Switzerland anymore. They're in service of His Holiness and Excellency the Pope.
Is that who you work for?
At times. Most frequently. But I've yet to see any confirmation that those 2 are actual Swiss guards. And let's be honest, the uniform is very distinctive.
Well,
And
they
easy
look
to
like-
replicate.
All right, well, they should come back either with their captain, who will explain everything, or with weapons in hands, in which case you have myself and Clint to protect you.
Thank you.
Right, Clint?
Nope, he's not here.
Oh, he is
Clint?
not here.
Clint, where
Clint
are you?
is in the bar car.
In his natural habitat.
I'm still seeing spots, y'all.
Like, oh, you mean that wasn't Clint? Oh,
That vague outline
Yeah.
was just a vague outline.
And and then she'll turn to the captain and say, "By the way, I'm not usually that big a classist, but it got what I wanted."
Oh, I totally get wanting to only have officers.
Well, there's a very old story in my family. You can date enlisted as much as you want, but you always marry an officer.
I'm
I
gonna
think
take
she
out
just
my gun.
proposed.
No,
Yeah.
she didn't.
Is the captain confused again?
The captain just nods and then just tries to see any underlying messages in that.
Which erogenous zone this time?
Take out my gun and I'm just gonna make sure that it's nice and loaded.
And the Contessa just sits back and is like, I should call for more drinks. Because that is what we need.
Do you want me to go check on your quarters? Because if they ask around, they can be pointed by just about any of the conductors where you sleep. And they might have people rummaging through your stuff.
They won't find it if they, well, let's be honest. They could, in which case I'm going to make an even bigger stink. And what do you think is more likely to cause a problem on this train? Swiss guards who think that they want to get in and get gone very quickly, or a very loud, very upset Italian noblewoman who is demanding that these imposters be arrested for theft?
Yeah, unless they do so without us knowing because we're not there.
I'm pretty sure the wards that are on that case aren't going to get broken without my knowledge.
Oh, good. Well, then let me fetch some more alcohol.
But if you feel uncomfortable, you can definitely trail after them. Although maybe one of us should go with you so you don't get shot.
Nah, that's not gonna happen.
Oh, you're definitely gonna get shot. Oh,
Somebody's getting shot.
somebody's getting shot today.
I'm gonna go fetch some nice wine, and I'll be right back.
I do not feel comfortable letting you out of any of our sights.
Yes.
And I look over to Esme and I'm like, you still have that wonderful little replication of the cane you made, correct?
I had to dismantle it and use parts of it for the fake bomb for the cover story.
That is correct. You're totally right.
Well, what we can do is we can just take a little bit of a walk. We'll go to the bar car. We'll come back.
Sounds good. Nice to get some fresh air,
Exactly.
especially after that lining experience.
I do apologize about that. I wasn't 100% aware that that would happen, but I knew it would break what they had, so there was that.
At least it was not explosive. Well, all right. Lead the way, Capitan.
Here I was wanting to follow the guards. I get out of the room and I go to the bar car.
So as you all do that, we're going to switch to Clint, who's already in the bar car at this point. I'm assuming bellied up to the bar, drink in hand at this already.
Yeah, so Clint's already had at least a shot. I think he's probably on his third drink. This one he's sipping.
Okay.
And if it's not busy in there, he'll have tried to have gotten Tristan to start playing a game of high card with him.
Okay. It is not busy, as most of the people are still awaiting to have their tickets collected, the newcomers anyway, as well as many of the other patrons are waiting to have their seats verified by the conductors, who seem to be a little bit held up at the moment. You haven't seen any of them walking in the train. You saw Rolf at the engine, Clint, but you haven't seen any of the others.
So Clint will, flip over a card. You see, this is why I don't play with money. And he'll push the cards over. Now, you'll tell me if I'm holding you up. I don't want to, cost you any money.
Oh, no, I'm good. Efficiency is a virtue, my mother always said.
You are 100% correct. And Clint will deal out two more cards.
He will move to flip the card.
Yep. And I'll flip mine over. And Yep, see again? You have the best luck ever.
I appreciate that. I don't know about the best luck, but currently luck is smiling on me.
Clint's gambling is poor.
Mhm.
So, yeah, he's going to basically lose every hand. But his spirits are actually kind of better. He has some color in his cheeks, and I think he's just trying to distract himself.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what he's doing right now.
And Tristan will oblige. Is there any sort of conversation you want to have as a distraction, or
I guess Clint would kind of ask about the turnover in staff and if there's anyone he's ever not worked with before.
There are a number of new people, but that's not uncommon. Usually, at least 25% of the crew is new on these long trips.
That makes sense. I suppose it's never a dull moment.
No. It really depends on where you're stationed and why.
Well, you seem to station yourself in the best part of the train.
Yes, this is quite the appropriate profession.
Well, here's to that. And Clint will finish off his third drink and kind of sit and reflect for a second. He'll pop open his pocket watch.
Mm-hmm. She smiles.
Yeah. You know, do you know how many people died on the trip here?
Oh, let's see. There was one body that they found of one of the conductors, rumored to have been another body of a missing passenger, or the passenger jumped off the train at some point in transit. And there was the man found in Captain von Brandt's bunk, cobbler, I believe. And then Lady Graven, whom I believe you know, I was told was found dead in her cabin.
Is it usually that dangerous to travel in trains here in Europe?
Oh, no, heavens, no. This particular train has high value targets, which bring danger to it, like moths to a flame.
I'm aware of at least one high value target, but you said targets.
Oh, yes.
And Clint kind of gives a look and kind of leans in and says, I'd be interested to know more.
Well, I assume, based on your walking back and forth from the front to the back of the train throughout the trip, that you've been to the rearmost luggage car.
That I have.
You've seen the safe room.
Indeed.
They don't include those cars unless there's something of value. It's usually more than an item. If there's only one item, they usually try to transport it a little more inconspicuously. But I'm sure that there's lots of valuables inside that room, as well as based on some of the information that I've gleaned from the questions that were asked about your friend Captain Von Brunt, at least one person of interest.
That does confirm some suspicions I've had, but I appreciate your ears and your candor.
No worries. I mean, nothing that I told you is anything that I don't think you already knew.
Having someone else say it keeps the crazy away.
That is fair. At that mention, you hear in your voice, "Do you think I'm not real?"
Clint will kind of chuff and if his drink is ready, he'll take a sip from his drink.
Okay. The drink will be ready, yes.
Yeah. And he'll think, I don't know if he doesn't know exactly how it all works, but he'll think to himself, if I get to talking out loud to you, there'll be some interesting consequences.
We all have our secrets, Tristan will say. And the voice that you hear from Lady Graven is, "Oh, yes, I guess that is true."
Clint will kind of nod. I thank you for your time. And Clint will say, I'm just going to sit next to the window for a bit. And he'll move off.
Tristan will nod and head back to busying himself behind the bar. Anything that you want to do before the rest of the party reaches the bar car?
If anyone else comes in, Clint will give him a look over, but otherwise, nah.
Okay. About that time, the Contessa, Isolina, Esme, and the captain arrive. I assumed it was the whole group, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone seems to be intent on following me wherever I go, so...
Mm-hmm. We
The
had a
last time you almost were murdered, so...
We had a conversation about how this wasn't going to happen again. Tristan, my dear.
We need more booze.
God, no. It's a very important question, Tristan. Does this...
Gotch appears on the bar.
That's for him. Does this train stock Strega?
Does the train stock Strega?
Or do you? I should ask that question. Do you stock Strega?
I have some, yes.
It's a Strega kind of night, Tristan.
Understandably so.
I'd be very interested to know if anyone else ever orders it.
I can let you know the next time that happens.
Does Clint look upset?
No, actually quite the opposite. Clint looks relaxed. Not even pensive, just kind of relaxed and kind of looking out a window. I think he acknowledges y'all entering the car, but he doesn't jump up or anything. I think, his posture is a lot more open.
She's going to go and sit across from you if she can.
Yeah.
And wait for her drink to show up.
When you sit down, Clint will say, listen, I'm sorry about all that. It wasn't what you said exactly. It just reminded me of something.
And sometimes the memories are the hardest.
So you want to tell me about those funny men?
If they are who they say they are, they work for the Swiss Guard and His Holiness the Pope.
They're far away from Rome.
That was my answer. Also, I freely acknowledge, I'm sorry to tell you that I may have pulled rank on them just a little bit and said I wouldn't talk to anyone below, an officer.
Oh, this is starting to get serious.
Well, when they come unexpectedly to tell me that my services are no longer needed, but we have so many people trying to kill us, caution seemed the word of the day.
Kind of thinking it over, Clint will look up at Von Brandt, are you at the bar?
I'm probably by the bar, yeah.
Is there anyone else in the car other than Tristan?
There is one waiter who brings over the strega for Lucretia and Tristan, and then the 4 of you, or 5 of you.
Clint will look up at the captain and say, I'm surprised you didn't go hunt them down.
Just between you and me, it was secretly my plan, but then everyone tagged along.
And Clint will look at the Contessa and Isolina and be like, this was the better plan.
I thought so.
I mean, nothing against you, Captain. You are a capable, strong man.
Very capable.
But you have a target on you.
I know, I'm just unused to all this babysitting.
Don't I know it? Not for you, I mean for me.
Captain. And she's kind of like has the glass in her hand and she's rolling it around. Do you think that those two gentlemen were going to be of any real threat?
If they're not part of the Swiss Guard, yes, maybe.
Then it isn't a good thing that you have backup. And she kind of looks pointedly at Clint.
I'll try not to leave at the worst times.
And at that, the Contessa just kind of glances at Isolina. You know, gentlemen, sit there with your fan. I almost wonder what would happen if you tried the Strega.
I'll try anything once.
Tristan! Around.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to see how the witch does against these fine gentlemen.
And as Tristan busies himself to do that, you'll hear a bit of a commotion outside. Number of footsteps and hooves.
Can we see out the window who's onto the platform from where we're sitting?
There is a sizable regiment of Swiss Guard.
Good.
Are we sure it's not a ball?
I mean, those were designed in the 1400s, 1300s, 1400s, as a sign of respect.
What's changed since then? They will forever look, I'm sure, like dangerous gestures.
Admitted
1471 to be exact.
1471. See, you know. There was a contest and everything.
Oh, I respect it.
I mean, I respect them for wearing it. I also respect the actual Swiss Guards' ability to handle, well, their halberds.
Is that
It's an interesting
euphemism?
weapon.
I'm sorry, Captain, I could not hear both you and Clint.
Whatever Clint said was way more intelligent than what I said.
In answer to your question, no and yes.
I don't remember which question came first.
Flip a coin.
Mine was more of a statement. Well, whatever you said to get them to leave, it doesn't look like it worked.
Oh no, I said I'd only talk to a captain. Let's see if they give me one.
Do they wear something bigger and brighter?
Although their hats are usually pointier.
Well, that is fascinating. Clint will sip the Strega.
Has Clint ever had Strega?
Nope.
Would you like to describe some things?
I've only had Strega in coffee, so I cannot describe the actual flavor.
The actual flavor of Strega?
It's a saffron liqueur, I know that.
No, it's not.
Is it not? It's
It looks that way, but it's not. So grappa is made out of the remains of well, technically it's saffron because yes, there's saffron in it, but it's actually usually made from the stems and mast of grapes, and they color it with saffron, and it's kind of like both fennel and mint at the same time.
Okay.
And it can taste to some people like paint thinner.
So the liqueur form of like cilantro.
And more like anise that's been mixed with mint.
Got it. Clint never spits any liquor out. He'll roll his tongue a bit. That's mighty strong flavor.
There's a witch on the bottle for a reason.
I don't know if I like it yet, but I'll try some more.
It's a late night drink. Then she just kind of sips hers.
About that time, you will see the two Swiss guards that you met before come back through, and enter into the bar car, and they make their way over to you, and they say, "Lady Fioravante."
Contessa, but yes.
"The Vice Commandant will see you now."
That's very nice. I will happily arrange for him to have a drink. Why don't you go get him?
"That's not how this works. You will leave
Yes,
the
it
train
is.
if you wish to speak with him."
I have yet to see any proof that you are who you say you are. And I have yet to see any proof that you're not a threat to me. So, if that is Excellency, the Vice Commandant wishes to speak with me. He knows where to find me.
They just stare blankly at you.
She'll turn away and just pick up the drink and turn to Clint and say, "So, what are you looking forward to most about Munich?"
I'd say the dancing.
We have to attend that ball. I have such plans.
I do hear it's going to be quite lovely.
Well, Lady Strickers has always thrown fabulous affairs.
Yeah, all Europeans always pull out all the stops.
I have to remember the last party we went to. Isolina, do you remember that party at Signore Marcos's? The
His
champagne
estate?
was... What?
His estate? Yes, the champagne was top notch. The rest of it really not that great. But
No,
the champagne.
the champagne was fabulous. It was one of the best events.
I lean over to one of the Swiss guards. I'm like, she's not gonna budge. You'd better go get your vice commandant.
We have our orders.
I know you do,
As-
but she's peculiar.
Then the train will never leave Geneva.
You know she won't mind. Plus, I mean, there's ample booze in here for your vice commandant.
Ample what?
Booze? Why? What did you hear?
Selena, I know that you're watching. You'll notice that people are being escorted off of the train. They're going from both ends of the train and pulling everyone off.
I do wonder what's his name? What is his name? The Duke? Who are you going to go see? What family is it?
Oh, his, well, Lady Strickers and her cousin, King of Bayern. Or are we talking about the Duke of Vienna? Or His Excellency the Pope himself? I really do get confused. I mean, sometimes it's all about knowing the right people and knowing the right things to happen at the right time. And gentlemen, and I'm using that as a kindness because I don't see any mark of rank or authority on you. Go let your good vice commandant know that I don't talk to peons.
Madam, we know who you are.
I'm glad.
We don't care.
I'm glad.
Our orders come directly from the Pope, who is the mandate of heaven.
I'm sure.
We do not care about your petty threats.
Well, sucks to be you.
And they just stand there, waiting.
And she just leans back in the chair and reaches up to the window and lowers it and kind of leans out the door. And she was playing the king for social graces, not for them, but for the... It's such a shame that one can't even deliver a message to a vice commandant and take respect or listen to a lady anymore. I really do wonder about the quality of the recruitment.
The vice commandant only has one person between him and the Pope.
I don't know. So would she. She literally she would know everything about that.
Mm-hmm.
But she's the two people who are talking to her
Or nothing.
are not. And she's not talking about the Vice
Mhm.
Commandant. She's not playing the social graces for that. She's playing it for everybody they're pulling off the train.
Fair enough.
She's playing that card. Does that make sense?
Sure. Just so you know, the play you're making is
Yeah.
the same one he's making.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And he's not going to budge
Oh, I know.
because he can have everyone arrested and silenced.
Technically not.
Under this, yes, he can.
But isn't Geneva in Switzerland and therefore not part of the Royal Holy Lands?
What he wants is on the train. Its presence gives him authority.
Mm. She's going to gauge. She's not paying attention to the two of them. She's gauging the platform.
As you start to look about the platform, you will actually see a man who you're pretty sure is the Vice Commandant based on uniform, having a very heated argument with one Father Korsakov.
And she'll turn and look at the two gentlemen that are there. Look at everyone else around. Turn to Isolina and sigh and say, I'm about to do something, and say in Spanish, I'm about to do something a little more reckless than I usually am, darling. Now, based purely on social connections, she would know who the Vice Commandant is because of his name.
Yes.
She would kind of half lean out the window, see this heated argument between him and Father Korsakov, and purposely using the Vice Commandant's first name, say, darling, I thought we had plans for drinks. Are you not going to come and join me?
It seems that Vice Commandant Donato Calandri does not care. He doesn't even turn to look at you when you speak.
Now I'm
He
very
is
upset.
solely focused on Father Korsakov.
Now I'm very upset. Clint, darling.
Yes, ma'am.
You and the good captain might want to follow me. And she looks at the two gentlemen that are in her way and goes, move.
They step aside.
And she'll shake her skirts out and stride purposely off the train, walk all the way up to the argument between the Vice Commandant and Father Korsakov, and loudly in Latin say, just look at him and say, well, I'm off the train. Still doesn't get you what you want. How about you come have a drink? We can talk about it.
As that's happening, I need to know what everyone else is doing. The two that came to escort her.
Sorry, I was muted for the stream because
sorry.
of kitten purring. I'm watching all the guards.
The two Swiss guards that came to escort her did as much. But there were others. And they have not left the bar car. They stand at the opposite entrance, which would be toward the back of the train, blocking that direction.
I am still on the train. I did not leave.
Okay.
And Clint followed the Contessa and has one hand on his spell pistol, and the other one is kind of showing off his 6-shooter.
Okay. Are you disembarking, Captain?
Um. No, I'll stay on. I figure like when you disembark from the train, there's like 2 steps to go down onto the platform
If you
or
get
something.
right off that one, yeah.
So I'd stay on one of those steps.
Okay, so you do exit out of the car
Yep.
and you stay at one of the steps.
Yep.
Okay. As he does that, you will see one of the Swiss guard, Esme and Iselina will see one of the Swiss guards escort the waiter out the other direction, and the other Swiss guard seems to follow the captain out. Are you playing any cards, Clint, Iselina, or Captain Von Brandt?
Or
Anything.
I want to play
Whatever
one
your
for
actions are.
perception.
Okay.
I'm trying to gauge whether these guards are actual guards or mercenaries dressed in the colors of the Swiss Guard.
Okay.
Potential
I will-
thieves.
Would you have what would you like to base that on? And do you have any history with the Holy See?
I don't have any history with the Swiss Guard, but I would know soldiery discipline
Yes.
versus the thuggishness nature of killers for hire.
Mhm.
Sorry, Clint.
Absolutely.
So that's what
Okay.
I'm basing myself on.
What would you like to play?
And perception, just because it's an average skill, I didn't mark the suit. What was the suit again for perception?
Diamonds.
Diamonds. Then I will go for a 10 of diamonds.
Excellent. As you are looking out onto the platform, this is a very well organized regiment. You will also have noticed that the 2 gentlemen that have come to the Contessa multiple times are very regimented in what they do, which is why they didn't seem to flinch.
Okay.
They also didn't seem to go and rifle through her cabin. Again, discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Clint, are you doing anything?
Clint is currently being a bodyguard, so he's using social graces to do that as best as he possibly can, so he has an average and is playing the ace.
Okay. I know that you spent some time on the East Coast, is where you left the States from. Were you out west at any point? Or were you always an East Coaster?
No, he comes from the Midwest.
Okay.
And yeah, he was on the East Coast because of his life circumstances. But
Okay.
yes.
I think one of the best examples Clint would have to kind of fashion himself after would probably be Pinkertons.
Okay.
As they are organized and professional. They're typically used for more than just being a bodyguard, but they have an air of respect that they seem to command where they go because they are not just thugs for hire. They are detectives as well as sometimes the law in place of other places, depending on what they've been brought in for and who they've been hired by. So
yeah, I think he's drawing in on that, and he kind of, his face changes from somewhat jovial and bemused to very serious as they exit the train, and depending on the Contessa's tone and her behavior is how he shifts and reacts.
Understood. Iselina.
So you said that in the bar car there was those 2 people holding the door back towards the safe room.
Yeah, one of them escorted the waiter out, and the other one seemed to have followed the captain.
And so there's no one there.
The one trying to follow the captain is crossing. He left after the captain actually exited the room. So he would be kind of going, not really gone yet.
Okay. And the other one escorted the waiter out. And Tristan and myself and Esme are just still in this
Yes.
our car,
Mm-hmm.
enjoying our drinks. I want to see, I guess, read motivation on this person behind the Capitan.
Okay.
Just to see if it's using my perception to see. I'll play a card. It's just gonna be a +2 because I don't have any diamonds or diamonds. Just to read motivation if this is like, this is the person who is like, oh, this motherfucker, he did, you know, or if he's just doing his job.
Okay. So everyone that you've seen so far holds themselves in a certain way, except this guy. In fact, as he walks by and you kind of look him up and down, he reminds you of the guy that has been trying to hide his face with his hat, pretending to sleep almost every time you've walked through the common car, the coach car. But now, for some reason, he's in a soldier's uniform and it doesn't seem to fit him very well.
So what I'm going to do is, could you give me a card, please?
Oh, yes.
So what I'm going to do is, as he starts crossing, son of a bitch, all I have are fucking spades. I've had spades all night. I had 1 diamond. I've been trying so hard to find something to use spades on. Like, this will be it. This is the thing I shall use, and it never worked.
You also have 2 deuces wild.
Oh, 2 deuces wild. Well, basically same difference. I'm going to, as I see this, like the moment I notice it, I am going to very quickly turn to grab a glass of Strega that's just, you know, there. And I'm going to stand up. And as I turn to grab it, because I'm going to look at Tristan real quick. I hope he gets, just to give him like a look and hope he sort of gets my message. And I'm like, I start walking over to the dude, to the bad guy. I'm like, oh, Senora, you forgot something. And what I'm going to do is I would like to trip on him. I would like to fall on him.
Okay. So creating some sort of distraction?
Yes, and stopping him for a moment.
Okay.
And hopefully causing enough commotion that, you know, the good Capitan turns around. And Tristan also has time to do something.
Okay.
Because I believe it would be too loud for me to just shoot somebody who's dressed in this costume real quick. But a scabbard, on the other hand, and also, so yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try and trip over this guy, and I'm going to use, I guess, athletics. I guess dramatic revelation. I've learned some shit from my boys around me.
Okay.
And I'm gonna bump that up to good, and then I'm gonna use the juice as well to up it.
Okay.
To basically tackle this man to the fucking ground, but act like I'm tripping, you know?
Okay.
Just so he doesn't get alarmed.
Yeah. Okay. So as you do that, let's see, what do I have here? That's not going to be enough to avoid or to notice. early enough to do something about it. He will turn towards you as you approach, even before you speak. He seems to be turning your direction. You'll notice that he seems to have a 6-shooter very similar to Clint's, not the fancy one that did the fireball, but the gunslinger kind of one, the American style one. And he kind of looks a little surprised at you as you're falling on him and at him. Tristan will play a card as he hops over the bar, shotgun in hand. And as you tackle him, the gunman, Tristan kind of points it at his face and says, and just shakes his head.
And I say, did you know it is illegal to dress as a, I don't know if it's illegal right now in this time and day and age. I'm just going to pretend it is.
To impersonate the Swiss
to
Guard?
impersonate a Swiss Guard in this day and age.
And he just doesn't say anything. Like, he's not wide-eyed, but you get the impression that he's not gonna say anything that would get him in more trouble.
I mean, I do not blame him. Because I begin to reach to get his gun out of his holsters.
Oh, it was in his hand.
Oh, shit.
If I had a better card for him to have noticed you, he would have tried to fire on you before you could tackle him.
Which I'd love to see it. And I fucking grab the gun out of his hand.
Sure. You can disarm him. And as you disarm him, are you going to stand up? Or are you going to stay atop of him?
No, I'm standing on top of him until an authority comes in and helps me out.
So you're going to stay laid on top of him?
Oh, I'm going to move up to make this less awkward for me. And instead, I'm just going to sit on him.
Okay. As you do, you'll notice that you don't think he could speak even if he wanted to. He has a scar across his neck.
Why is it always like this? Tristan, why is it always like this? Always dead people.
No, not like Herschel. Like, his vocal cords might have been cut when he got stabbed at some point.
That is fair. That happens. That sucks. Well, at least it makes it easier on your job when this happens, I guess.
Outside, as you are approaching and talking, your perception is not completely
Can I play
derailed.
a card to notice anything that's going on? Because
Sure.
she's still paranoid about everything.
Sure.
And she probably hasn't met the good Vice Commandant Donato, but she's heard at least descriptions of him.
Mm-hmm.
So she wants to make sure that this guy at least matches descriptions, and that if everything else around her, is how that's going.
Yes, he seems to be who he says he is. From the descriptions that you got, this is Donato Calandri. He typically is we'll say the mobile vice commandant. There are only 2 vice commandants. One is the right hand of the commandant. The other is typically the one that moves with the mobile part of the Swiss Guard. So if cardinals are traveling and they need Swiss Guard increased import, like groups of them rather than individuals, he goes with that unit. So he's not often in Rome. He's usually on the road headed somewhere. And that would be why you would have never officially met him.
Yeah, probably not.
But as you're approaching, you'll actually hear the bits of the argument, which is simply Father Korsakov telling him in a very stern voice, "This is not the will of His Excellency. You are making a play of your own. And he looks at the vice commandant fires back. I carry out the will of His Excellency, and I will tell you what that is.
You know, gentlemen, there's a very easy way to fix this.
And both of them will turn and look at you.
There's a telegraph office right over there. We go ask His Excellency what he wants. His Holiness has always been quite responsive, as my experience. But are you going to sit here and argue about what? Who has more authority? It doesn't matter. Neither of you are going to get the object until I'm told by a figure of authority that you have permission to have it. So. And she's straight up treating them like children fighting over a toy. But would she have heard what happened behind her with that 5 on her perception?
No.
Okay.
No, you would have been too far from the bar car at that point
That's
because he was almost up by the engine.
Okay.
Where he had stopped.
All
He
right,
was
then.
literally going to make you make a procession to come see him. That was his power play.
Oh.
So when you decided to storm out there, he was intending to wait. And that's when he got cut off by Father Korsakov, who was near that end of the train. And as soon as Father Korsakov saw them out there escorting people off, he intervened.
Good for Father Korsakov.
The vice commandant looks you up and down and says, "Madam."
Contessa. Vice Commandant, if we're going to be polite about it. And we should be polite, shouldn't we? We have so many people observing us. Wouldn't want bad reputations to go back to about how people are treated.
Contessa. You are a courier.
No.
In this instance, you are a courier. I appreciate your candor, but you do not have the authority to make demands.
And yet, I've had 3 people try to kill me, 3 dead bodies, a necromancer, the World Crime League, and the Order of the Dragon running around. So until I see some proof that His Excellency and Holiness has changed his mind about the orders I was given, I serve His Holiness and I serve Rome.
From Father Korsakov, you hear, Contessa, you will not find such information from this man. He does not have it. He is a bully.
Would she know anything about the Vice Commandant's personality? Any rumors about him? Any stories?
Off the top of her head? Or are you playing a card?
I mean, what would that be? Social graces or connections? Oh, connections. Sure. I'll play that for connections. Her connections are great.
He's been trying to make a play for power for a long time. He doesn't like that he's on the road. It's a not very well kept secret that he does other things in order to give himself a better life.
Yep.
It's one of the perks of traveling, as you know.
So many perks of traveling. And the Contessa just looks at Father Korsakov and says, "Oh, I'm sure the stories I've heard about how the good Vice Commandants got caught involved in that gambling ring or selling indulgences. Now, those couldn't be true at all. But see, it's a very simple answer. Hey, Clint. And
Yes, ma'am.
neither of these two gentlemen seem to understand the way business works when they've been entrusted with something, right? If they both want to talk, they're little boys fighting over a toy. And if the little boys fighting over a toy can't agree on where it belongs, neither of them get to have it.
That
Isn't that
sounds
right?
about right.
So, and she's going to turn around and, like, how far down the train are we?
You're almost at the engine.
Okay. Do I see anybody on the platform that looks like they, are one of the staff of the station?
Of the station?
Yeah, or the train or somebody like that.
There, you see Rolf being
Rolf!
questioned. Yes.
Rolf, darling, we could use you over here. And she kind of just glances over at Clint and's like, steps slightly closer to him,
Mm-hmm.
but trying to make it look like she's not concerned about herself at all. But she's stepping out of his line of shot, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So Clint will have his hand on his spell gun, keeping the other one visible though,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of pulls back his duster.
I have very good protection. The good Capitan is also very good protection.
Who you do see on the step of the bar car looking at what's going on.
Would I have heard the commotion from Isolina inside?
You would have heard a thud, and you would have heard her talking, and Tristan, but they're using hushed tones.
If I crank my neck, can I see inside the bar car, or would I have to make my way back?
You'd have to make your way back. It's not that narrow.
Well, seeing that the Countessa is with Clint, I'll just make my way back to check on Isolina and Esme.
Okay.
I'm sitting on this dude. I'm like, oh well, there's a shotgun in his face, and have his other gun in my other hand.
It's the same guy that you recognized once that kept his hat pulled over his face, but now he's in an ill-fitting Swiss Guard uniform.
I know you. Wait, are you here to kill me?
He can't answer,
Why?
but yes. Oh, he has an injury here, no vocal cords.
Oh. Wow, that... So sorry for you, but are you here to kill me? Not once for yes and twice for no.
He just stares at you.
I'm going to say because he followed you out in this costume with a gun ready to shoot, I will say yes. And this is why you should always go with people.
Well, thank you, Isolina. So, and I get my pistol out and cock it. How do we do this?
Well, honestly, the gun is probably not the best role in this situation because it is the entire guard, the Swiss guard outside. While the Contessa is making quite a ruckus. I can hear it from here. She did not close the window. I can still hear it all. And I do not think a gunshot would work out very well. It would cause mass chaos. And honestly, this one needs a little bit more. Need to smooth over some rough edges out there. If you'd like, we could get rid of this guy, but I think you'd have to go with a little bit more of a quiet method.
No, he needs to be arrested. I'm not just gonna murder someone.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I guess we're going the other way with this. Okay, well, then you can go out and get the guards and say that we have we have caught an assassin.
You might want to find, Tristan says, the guy whose uniform he took.
Oh, yes. That would be a good one also, yes.
Well, let's go
Let's
search the
probably
train.
do
The body must not be very far.
Are you okay here, Tristan?
Tristan nods.
Oh, maybe we should tie this man up.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit nervous about it, so I'm just gonna grab from under my dress. I'm just gonna grab some binders I have just available for no particular reason, and I
Wink,
will
wink, nudge, nudge.
Wait, what?
and I will just start tying up his arms.
What else do you
And-
have under your dress, Selena?
Pockets are a wondrous thing. I'm sure you know because pants always have, pockets. But it dresses much more room, many more pockets.
Interesting.
It's almost a dress with many pockets.
A dress of many pockets. All right, okay, let's go find the other dude. Tristan, I trust you and your shotgun to have this.
And it really doesn't take you too much because as you enter into the dining car, you hear muffled sounds coming from the restroom that's at the side by the bar car. And when you open it, there is the guard.
Oh, you're not dead. Oh, that is a relief. This is going to be so much easier to explain now. I'm so sorry. As I told you, there were assassins on this train. Well, I guess I Contessa told you I did not. Here we go. All right, here. I'm going to undress
This
you.
is a completely different guard. You've never seen this one before.
They
And
all
he's
look
just
the same.
blinking at you like, what?
So,
Oh, sorry. That was your coworker. Honestly, your uniform, it's very distracting. I can only apologize. But let's just get you out of this situation.
yeah,
He's in his undergarments.
you want to get your uniform back, soldier? Go
Mm,
with.
mhm.
Oh, well, I'll ungag him.
Yes. And get the man that stole it.
Oh, we already got the
We
man.
already did that. Yes.
She
that's
got
how
him.
we knew you were here.
Well, thank you. Can you untie me now?
Oh, that's what I am doing. Honestly,
Oh, thank you.
These are very good knots. Very accomplished assassin. Unfortunately, caught by an easy tackle. Okay, and there you go, sir, senor.
Would you mind telling your superior what happened?
I'll
we
tell him
can
everything.
arrest-
Good.
So we can arrest
And
this
he's
man.
marching toward the bar car.
Okay. Don't mind Tristan. He's keeping him subdued.
Okay. Back outside.
So as the Contessa kind of backs behind Clint, just takes a step back, Clint kind of takes a step forward instinctively and puts on the most winning smile possible and says, "Now, gentlemen, the Contessa has said her piece. We have a direction to go with this package. I believe we should go that direction."
The vice commandant starts to get a little frustrated. And he looks to his left and looks to his right. And you can see the numbers. They're not in y'all's favor. And Father Korsakov sighs very heavily.
It's very easy, gentlemen. You send a message and we wait for an answer.
There's no need for that. But the moment that you confirm what is here, then people know. And that is always a mistake.
Oh, of
At
course.
which point, he pulls out a writ. And he hands it to the vice commandant. Says, I have the authority here.
Such a shame, Donato. You didn't check all of your cards before you tried to make a play.
And the vice commandant breaks the seal and pulls it open. And he reads it over. And he rolls it up but does not do so as carefully or reverently as someone might. And feigns as though he clumsily dropped it at Father Korsakov's feet before he turns and leaves.
Oh, such a shame. Clint, did you know that I saw the good Vice Commandant Donato? He was drunk on duty.
Well, that doesn't seem becoming of an officer.
No, it's really not. It'd be such a shame if the Holy See heard about it, wouldn't it?
He looks over his shoulder back at you and says, "We'll meet again someday."
And she'll do the most perfectly correct curtsy for his rank, and say, "I look forward to it."
Someone should.
Clint will wink.
And he leaves. And that will conclude season 2. 2 days with hedgehogs on a train. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to my wonderful players. Thank you to the audience. Thank you, Godless Lawyer, for all of your kind donations this season and the brilliant puns in chat each session. To all of our people watching on the VOD, thank you. Simon, I know we ran a little over. My apologies.
No, it's okay. It's the finale. I assumed we were going over one way or another. So that is fine. Don't worry about it. I should have posted something about it in the Roll20 in the Zoom chat. Seems like we have a recurring or a future recurring villain in the form of the Vice Commandant.
2 of them. You got a necromancer on the loose.
I mean,
Who has a thing for the captain.
Yeah, but who doesn't?
such a shame she's not that
Isolina?
memorable.
Yeah. Isolina and Esme.
Now, everyone else might, but those 2 definitely don't.
That's true. They definitely don't.
Likely Tristan, he's just being polite.
I mean, I think Tristan is like the best service industry guy. Also, hashtag totally not sorry about power playing the Vice Commandant of the...
I'd expect nothing less from the Contessa.
Yeah, I was expecting us to get into a scrap over what you did.
She was prepared for it. And because Godless Lawyer was so kind, she upped her fencing for it too.
The numbers were intended to never have this actually be a fight. It would be a political play from the beginning.
I got some private warning messages. Please do not do this.
The fight was going to be with the would-be assassin that waylaid one of the Swiss Guard. The Swiss Guard were to be a distraction for that, which Isolina tackled.
Isolina is good like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, thank you so much for saving my ass again.
You're welcome. I'm
I mean,
accustomed.
Maybe like after the 3rd time we do it, he'll get it when the captain will get it when the lady detectives are like, yeah, don't do that.
Did you see Godless Lawyer's comment? He's pretty sure that Von Brandt is Esme's safe word.
Well then, this concludes the 2nd season of Adventures in Castle Falkenshtein. Thank you so much, everyone, for having stuck around these 2 seasons. All in all, I think it was, 20 episodes?
20 episodes, 10 each.
Yep. So almost 6 months of 5 months of Castle Falkenstein. It was the first time I was playing. I don't know for everybody else, but it is a wonderful system and setting. Very easy to learn, actually. Very easy to play, and you kind of can focus on the role playing and the intrigue, and in our case, the drinking. So much drinking
And flirting.
and flirting.
which you all do so very well.
Yes, and so very much. We let's go around the table and tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us where we can find you on the internet. And we'll do the reverse order from how we introduced ourselves. We'll start with Kenny.
Hello. Hi, my name is Kenny. You can find me on Twitter at PunderDrone. I do games on the Experience Points channel here on Twitch. You can find out all about those if you follow us on our Twitter at EQ Points. I DM a Starfinder game that we play every other Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 2 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be doing that tomorrow. We're doing the Dawn of Flame Adventure Path, and yeah.
Cool. I'll have to try it at some point.
It's a fun game. Starfinder is a lot of fun. It's a crunchy system, but there's a lot of depth and breadth in the story.
Cool. Deirdre.
Hey all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre Delman on Twitter or Proxagorthesmephoria as you see me out in the Twitch chat. I love this so much. I love the Contessa, and she is such a different person than me that it's great sometimes to just play her. I love the interactions with everybody and how much fun we get to have. But as for me, tomorrow you can find me here at 1 p.m. Eastern as we do have Vampire Nightfall. Our Vampire the Masquerade game where the vamp dads and their art daughter and gremlin stepson, which apparently are now the tags involved in this, are trying to figure things out in New York. And we will have a guest tomorrow as Charlie Frost from Fire is going to come play with us. So, and other than that, check my Twitter. I always post where I'm going to be. And I also posted the game that I wrote. It's available on itch. It's about role-playing ancient Greek heroines of myth and legend, and how sometimes you don't have to be the hero with a sword. You could be a hero with a loom, because Penelope is still the most badass individual in all of myth.
Hey, thank you. Actually, yeah, thank you to Kenny. Wow, I spaced out for a second, but PB, where can we find you? Whew.
Hi, I'm PB from @PB Plays Inside, where you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. I do variety gaming over on my channel and also a little bit of cartography because I think it's fun. I'm playing with inks, and I'm gonna be buying inks because I want to play more with inks. And oh god, what else do I do? I am on Saturdays. I am on a show over on Experience Points that Kenny talked about, and it's a ton of fun. I play a Isoki, who is like a small, relatively rat person who is awesome. They are obsessed with guns, and my end game is to make a gun caddy robot. That's really what I want out of everything. You know, aside from all of the drama that's happening, that's really my end game. And am I doing anything else? Doing anything else? Nope. That is all me. Feel free to talk to me on Twitter because that's where I interact with people the most.
Cool, and thank you for playing. Thank you to all three of you for agreeing to play in this game, by the way. You were tons of fun. And all of those games, all of those stories, those 2 seasons would not have been possible without Chris. Thank you so much for hosting Castle Falkesnstein. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Geary. You see it on my frame. You can find me, actually, that's the only thing I have going on right now is to find me on Twitter. I've got a couple of things in the works that may be popping up that I can let you know about when they are official. But until then, you can find me there. I don't know any timing about if there will be a season 3, but if there is, you'll find out through Twitter. So keep in touch.
Yep. And as for me, I am Simon at Wandering DM. This was season 2 of Castle Falkesnstein. we will be back next week, well, tomorrow for Vampire the Masquerade. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then next week, I'll be over on Role Players for some Age of Arcana on Monday. For back here on Wandering DM for the premiere of Season 3 of Dark Matter. Season 4 of Dark Matter, that's true. We're at Season 4 now. It's been so long. Season 4 of Dark Matter as the group picks up in the void, left behind by a god. And I have plans for other shows, but check my Twitter. You will see all about it. On that note, let's go and find a friend to raid. Because I am fairly sure that there are still people streaming at the moment. And let's go and say hi to... let's go and say hi to Role Players then. And we will see you tomorrow. Ciao, everyone.